Okay, so I realized I had some of y'all gagged when I mentioned in my 2016 throwback post about how I worked with and met Beyonce. So here's a little what happened was for those of you that didn't know me then. 2016, I moved to New York from Toronto, and I was living in a model house that ended up being like an undercover, maybe like sex crimes. I don't know, child. So I had to skip the model house. So I skipped the model house in August, like August 17th, 18th, I think. That whole thing is a story time for another day. My boyfriend at the time wired me a few $1,000s, and he was like, look, you need to find an apartment. Here's first month, last month. I don't know rent, but figure it out. So I found a room on an app in Queens. I moved into that apartment literally like a couple days later. I feel like it was August 22nd. My mother agent, who was in Toronto, emailed me like, hey, rush last minute casting for Grammy nominated artist. We don't know who it is for, but it's an important casting, like you gotta go. So I'm like, okay, let me get my shit together and go to the casting. So I get to the casting and they're like, hey, pretend you're a strong, independent woman. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, walk back and forth like you own the room like a strong woman. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, now bend down and pretend you're throwing sand. So I like bend down and throw sand, and I'm like, what is happening? Took probably, I don't know, 5-10 minutes. That was that. The turnaround time of this was insane. So then literally like the next day, my agent's like, you got it. You booked the job. Like, you're headed to Brooklyn to Steiner Studios for the next week. The job is on the 28th. Sunday, August 28th was the job. Mind you, still, I have no idea what is happening. So I get there, and there's all these other like beautiful models, my fellow queens, 18, 17, 18 of us. And we're all sitting around, and like we're at the studio signing the contracts papers. Child, I was not reading. I just be signing it. Not good advice. Read your contracts, models. And then literally we're sitting there, and one of the models, I remember, she was like, oh my God, did you guys read it was Beyonce? And we were like, what? Some of us were like, it's what? It's who? She's like, yeah, you didn't read what we just signed? And we're like, no, I didn't read what I just signed. It's for what? They're like, yeah, it's literally Beyonce. Then we go into the studio. They bring us all in. They're like, all right, we're gonna like start rehearsing. Beyonce. Oh, walking in. I just remember I was literally just like, don't freak out, don't freak out, don't freak out. Everything is fine, everything. Try not to have a heart attack. It's the next week. Steiner Studios rehearsing for the MTV VMA performance. It was a surprise performance. That's why everything was all like so rushed and hush hush, like, because that's when the Lemonade album came out. It was for the Lemonade album. She had just was performing. She was on like the Formation World Tour, but she was having a surprise performance for the VMAs for the Lemonade album. It was sorry, I'm sorry. That was a song that we were there for. When it comes to the rehearsals, I had never seen someone work so hard in my life. They're early morning to like maybe midnights, like all day. I saw her use the bathroom. I never saw her eat. Like, lady, do you have a catheter? She was so hardworking. I couldn't believe what I was seeing with my eyes. Her control and like the decisions that for the show that she makes, she personally like she picked where she wanted us to stand on the stage, like how she wanted the lights to be and when she got to a certain part, and like how she would ask someone to be like, I have a suggestion. Like if Beyonce said I have a suggestion, that means like get your shit together and change it. Like Jay-Z and Blue, like they was there all week too, like in Brooklyn at the studios, like they was coming in and popping up. And I remember at the time, because remember it was Lemonade, the time we would see Jay-Z would be like, tomato, tomato, tomato. Mind you, this whole time I could not tell my friends or family what the fuck I was doing. All I could say is, you guys, watch the MTV VMAs on Sunday. Watch the MTV VMAs on Sunday. Literally, just watch them. Do you understand? This was all a fever. I don't think that any of this was real. But the bonds of like all the models that were the fellow Nefertiti's, that's what our role was. We were the Nefertiti's, the Queen Nefertiti's, like in our outfits. The bond and just having that experience together, it's just unforgettable. Like it was such an amazing, I can't even like, it's not even words. Like it's all surreal still 10 years later. The nerves leading up to this show day, I can't even. So we get to Sunday, it's day of the show. We're headed to Madison Square Garden. We're given these black hoodies that I still have. I will go, I'll show you. It's oversized black hoodies because we had to hide. These were the, it says Lucy. That was her code name. These were the lanyards that we had to wear while we were backstage. Nobody knew she was performing, so her code name was Lucy. Show day comes. We're all backstage. We get our makeup done. Hair, the Nefertiti crown. Her dancers were awesome. Such a family time because it was like, you guys, we've been like keeping this crazy secret together for like a week. The connection that brings, it's just like unreal. The MTV VMAs happen. We get on stage. We perform with her. She does her thing. She fucking kills it. It was so crazy because it was like, oh my God, Beyonce performing. Then I just remember after the show, just the high, the elation, this incomparable. I don't even know like words how to explain it. And then my phone just blowing up because I could finally like tell people, and people saw it and they watched it and they were like, oh my God, this is unreal. This is not happening. Like, you guys, how do you explain explain that feeling. Like, I was just on stage. Like, I've been holding this secret. I've been with Beyonce for the past week and I couldn't say anything. And then now finally get to see us on stage together for the MTV VMAs at Madison Square Garden after I just moved to New York City 2 months ago and had to escape a freaking mile house. The next day, the depression, just the wave of depression that hit, because all week we were going to the studio, doing this secret thing, this grand performance of the show, and then you just go home that night and then wake up the next morning like nothing just happened last week. Like, I will never forget. I don't know how to explain to you the Monday after the VMAs, that feeling of waking up like, what the actual fuck just happened? And then I was just depressed because I was like, you guys, I peaked. I can kill myself now. I can literally jump off a bridge. Like, I just peaked. That's the story in a nutshell. I still can't believe to this day that happened, but yes, I know Beyonce. Yes. If you know me, then you know her too, okay? You're one person removed from Beyonce, so yes, and she's great. Never seen anything like it with my eyes. She held prayer for us before we started rehearsals, telling us that we are exactly where we're meant to be in this moment. I'll never forget those words. She said everything in our lives has happened to lead us up to this moment together, and I was like, you're lying. This isn't happening. Yeah, thanks for listening, and that's the story of how I worked and met Beyonce. Crazy.
Realize the mother of my children, both living and dead. Rest in peace, my true love, who I took for granted. Her heaven will be love without betrayal. Ashes to ashes. Dust to ashes.